Welcome to the Choice, Change and Action podcast, where you get to choose, change and take action to create a different today and a different future. These are my stories of choice, change and action, along with the phenomenal guests I have on here. From a really young age, I've always desired to create a change in the world. The planet has been a constant inspiration to me, and Access Consciousness has shown me the tools to know that anything is possible. And I keep choosing. What are you going to choose? Hi, everybody. Welcome to Choice, Change and Action podcast. So we have two very special guests on here today, and you're going to have to jump on YouTube if you want to see one of them, okay? So right now you might be listening on Spotify and you've got the Miss Wonderful Sarah Watt. Welcome, Sarah.
Hello. Thank you.
And in her lap, she has one of my favorite animals in the world, Miss Frankie. So I absolutely love her. She's such a handsome, beautiful dog. Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
That was such a perfect look.
Yeah. She was like, tell me more.
Yeah, tell me more. Will you feed me? Will you give me snacks maybe? So we've got Sarah and Frankie, but Sarah's going to be the one I'm talking to. So, but if you want to check us out, don't forget you can always go over to YouTube because we're live on there. I think 99% of our shows now. So, and welcome. Thank you for being here, Sarah. Thank you for listening, and thank you for being in the world. And just how does it get any better than this?
Yeah.
So I asked Sarah to jump on here today, and I'll be totally honest with you. I've got two things that are coming up as this podcast is released, and I was like, I'd really like to invite people to these possibilities, and that's the way I look at all of Access Consciousness, is not this place of like, shoving these Access Consciousness tools down someone's throat. It's like, that's, I think, really an incredibly unkindness, and I would like to invite everyone to a different possibility in all areas of life. So I have something coming up called the Body Series, which if you've listened to my last two podcasts, I've been talking about this as well. And I did some podcasts with some fabulous, amazing people. And there was so many great stories and tools in them. So if you haven't listened, go back and listen. And the Body Series starts on the 5th of July in Australia. So the 4th of July why not start on the 4th of July in America? What a good day. And it goes for about 3 months, but I'm so excited. Like, I keep waking up every morning and my body, because I talk to my body in bed before I get up, unless I'm busting for a pee, but usually I've done that throughout the night. So it's okay. I can lie in bed and be with my body in the morning. And I was like, God, this is going to be so cool to be with all these bodies that are actually looking at exploring, something different with bodies. And it doesn't have to be significant, doesn't have to be meaningful. It's just, let's like push our barriers down and go, okay, what else is possible? Like, what else is possible with our bodies? What is it that you desire to create or be with your body that you have not yet chosen? And I want to explore that. And then the other class that I've got coming up is based on the second book that I wrote called Getting Out of Debt Joyfully. So guess what, ladies and gentlemen, it's about money, and that you don't need to be in debt to come to that class. That's one thing I always talk about, because people are like, well, I'm not in debt. You can also create wealth. Guess what? You can also ask for more. So when I was talking to Sarah today, I was talking to her about, actually, I did a call this morning on our Choice, Change and Action membership. And I referenced Sarah at one point because I said, you're one of the happiest people I know. It's like you just, and you've had some shit go on in your life. Like some of your stories is like, people would be like, are you serious? And it's like, yeah. And I mean, right now, if you're on YouTube, you can see she's smiling. And I said, you, the way you are, be so joyful and happy, like whenever because quite often we'll leave voice messages for each other about work or life or whatever, back and forth. And I was commenting about the majority of the time when Sarah leaves a message on my phone, there's this happy, exuberant, being. And then it brings out my happy, in me. And it's like, what if we could be that for each other? What if we could be that happy that brings out the happy in someone else? And there's quite a few people in my life that I know, when I listen to their messages, they make me smile. And And I know when I leave a message back, it makes them smile too. And it's not from proving anything. It's not from anything like that. It's just this happy that you can be with yourself that then invites and inspires someone else to something different. And to me, that's ultimately what I choose to do Access Consciousness for as well, is to invite people, like I said, to a different possibility. So we wanted to talk about bodies and money today. And I mentioned it to Sarah, and you were talking about how people sort of look at money in a different way, and they don't look at how money actually contributes to your body and how that sort of works together, that interaction and engagement. So do you want to sort of go down that road, navigate down that road, and explore like what you were talking about or what you were referring to for the listeners, ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah. And even just before that, to mention as well, talking about your body series and just everything that you've spoken about with regards to body so far, it's always a question. And that's what I love about Access, and what I'd never experienced when it came to bodies or money until I found Access was there's no answers. There's just questions, and I've spent a lot of time, judging my body or trying to figure it out and trying to fix it and do all these things based on what this reality tells us. But the moment you're willing to just stop and ask a question, it's like this whole realm opens up, this whole new way of doing things. So just to also highlight the sheer difference that Access has and bees with bodies. And then when we spoke about this, I grew up fairly poor, I would say very poor, maybe even. So I never really drew a connection between money and what having money meant to my body. Like, but really, the way I saw people making money, it was always this thing of like, well, you make money to survive, or you make money to get by, or whatever. And then meeting people like you and people that actually were willing to have hedonism and wealth, I started
now I want to say,
yeah.
there was definitely times in my life where I was, well, we know from my book, Getting Out of Debt Joyfully, it's like I was creating myself to be a financial mess. So now.
But it's just this whole different, and whenever it is that people discover it, that what I would invite them to, listening to this or wherever you have it available, is where you see that money actually can really be about creating a better time for your body. Like, your body's the one that gets to wear the nice clothes and eat the nice food and fly in the business class seats on the airplane. But I just never drew those two things together. It was always very separate in my world. And when you sort of said this thing about the bodies and money, like the two things, you don't really look at them to be together. Something that can be so closely. Yeah.
Well, most people put business and money together, and then they put relationships and sex together. And then bodies is this thing that's like thrown out there that you're either, you're meant to be like, when people say being to be grounded, you're meant to be all of this. And it's like, there's not a great deal of things that really empower you to explore what else is possible with your body here on the planet. Like, what if we've only just touched the surface of what's available? And I love what you used the word fixing before. And it's like, and so many people look at their bodies that there's got to be something that they have to fix, but they also look at money as there's something that's got to be fixed. Like, it's like there's if you just think about it now, if you're listening to this, or the people around you, friends and family, how many people are okay with their bodies and okay with money? And what if that was actually a possibility that we could explore? And you was talking about how much you've judged a body, etc. God, me too. And I'm not 100% out of judgment with my body. I don't think I know anyone that is. It's this, I don't know, this ridiculous thing that we just keep cycling back into. And I noticed, I've mentioned it before, I used to judge the shape and size of my body. And then I sort of went, okay, I'll stop doing that. And then I picked up the age judgment, and I was like, hang on, this is like, what am I doing? I'm swapping one judgment out for the other. And what if I started each day with a question, like you mentioned, of, hey body, it's like, what else is possible today? What adventures can we have today? And what level of relaxation can we choose? And what possibilities can we invite? Like, how many revenue streams can we invite into our life, and not make it all separate, but have it work and engage with each other in a really different way.
Yeah, and I think like the really key thing there is problems or possibilities. And it's so easy too, like to even just start with that. And every time you go to a problem with your body or a problem with money, go, okay, I acknowledge now that I'm looking at the problem. What's the possibility here? What's the possibility behind this? And if I wasn't focusing or fixated or looking at the problem, what else would be possible? And just that question alone changes everything. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny, I just went to the hairdresser today, and the hairdresser's assistant, they're going skydiving, right? And she started my hairdresser loves skydiving, and the assistant has never done it before. And so she starts talking about everything that can go wrong, right? And then she started talking about, like, kite surfing accidents and all these accidents. And my hairdresser laughed and went, you always look at what could go wrong. What if
Yeah.
what if it was the flip side? But as you mentioned about the problems instead of possibilities, like, how many of you find a comfort in the problem?
Yeah.
And a comfort in the problem, and a comfort in the, oh, what could go wrong, rather than this could be the most joyous friggin' experience my body and I have ever had, spent money on to do.
Yeah.
And what if, because there's a level of courage and vulnerability to not be like everybody else, to not fit in like everybody else, to not have the problem with money, to not have the problem with your body, to not have to apologize for where you're at right now, to actually enjoy the moment and go, I'm going bigger, I'm going greater, I'm going more, let's fucking do this shit, And it's like, what if that's how you woke up and went, I'm going to create more money than anyone else I know, just because you can. And it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not wrong. Like, when I said that, how many of you went, you're not supposed to ask for more money? Why not?
Yeah.
Or you with your body, like, you and I both love going to the gym. And it's like, we both love, we do all these different things. Like, we go through a phase of doing something and do it a lot. And then we go, no, I haven't run in ages, I'm doing this over here, But we do it for the joy of it. And can you talk a little bit about that, what that's like for you as well, when you did it from the judgment side of it, and then now choosing it for the joy of it?
Well, the one thing I'll say is every time you do something from judgment, you'll always find another judgment. Like, I remember when I was training in gyms, 6 days a week, and I was so fit. Like, I remember being out in a pub with a friend and having drinks, and I left to go to the bathroom, and this lady came up to my friend and said, is she in the Olympics? Like, it must have been around the Olympics time. Like, I had this physique that, like, you could tell I'd walk into a room and everyone would be like, whoa. And never, like, in my world, there was always something wrong. There was always at least something wrong with my body. And that's because I'd created that body from judging it into that space. Like, I would work so hard, I have to do this, I have to be in the gym for 2 hours a day. So even though I'd created what I actually wanted to, it was never, ever, ever, never it.
It didn't give you. So when you were doing that, what did you, were you looking for a result, like something that you thought,
yeah. Well,
it
started, and I loved it. I loved it up until right at the end, where I realized, like, fuck, I'm never going to get to this thing that I'm trying to create that doesn't exist. When I started, I loved discovering what my body could do and seeing the progress week after week after week. And I mean, it was, a year or a year and a half of solid training in gyms. And I loved it right up until the end, where I was just burnt out from overdoing it. But it would always change. To start with, it would be to lose weight, and I'd lose weight. And then it'd be to lift heavier weights, and then I'd do that. And then in the end, it was something just ridiculous, like a 6-pack. And, for a female of like above 30, to get to that stage with their body, I mean, some people naturally are genetically made up, and I've got genetic parts of my body that a lot of other women probably couldn't achieve, like with my muscles. But this thing you have in your mind about, if I get a 6-pack, but I can guarantee, even if I got a 6-pack, it wouldn't have been.
There would have been something else.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. It's like always looking for that something else, rather than, like, I went to the gym today and I did a CrossFit thing. I didn't know it was on. And I walked in, and one of the guys in the gym was like, hey, you here for this? And I went, no. And he went, could be. And I went, I could too. And I went, okay, I'm going to do it. It was so much fun. And I met all these people, and they were like, oh, hi, Simone. Because I they all do the same class every week. So, you know, I was the newbie in there, but it was really cool. And they were so kind and so welcoming and like, doing okay, you know, and it was great. I had so much fun. And it's like, and then, you know, if you go for a run or you do Pilates, like if you actually started choosing what brought you joy, and you do, yes, you do change your body. Like you and I have both done things of like losing weight or building muscles or whatever. And it's like, for me, one of the things I asked for about 2 years ago was more strength and flexibility. So that's something that I, you know, like my last trip when I, you know, traveled every morning, pretty much, nearly every morning, I either was running in heat. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm weird. I really like running in extreme heat. Or just doing a bit of Pilates, like even 20 minutes of just stretching and moving. But it was never like this, I've got to go running, or I've got to go do this. It was like, it was almost like if I didn't choose it, my body would be like, what? We're just going to go sit in a chair for hours on end and you haven't moved? Are you kidding me? No, that's not happening. And it was like, okay, I get it. But then just equally, it's like, you know, I'd have a beer in the afternoon or a glass of wine, you know, afterwards, or a cocktail or something. It's like not judging your choices, choosing what works for you and your body.
Yeah. And that's just that whole difference around when you're creating something from the judgment as opposed to creating something from the joy. And just that. And I remember when I started, like I said before, when I started this journey, because people see me and they're like, oh, what sport did you do as a kid, Sarah? Like, where did you start? And I was like, sport. I never, like, PE was my least favorite subject at school.
You had your period every week.
I was like, I would wag, I would skip it, I would be like, I was not interested at all. And people see me now and think I've grown up with this like really athletic background. So when I started discovering these things about my body, which was literally in my early 30s, basically, before that, I had no idea what my body was really capable of. And now, like, I went through those years of being really judgmental, and now it becomes this like, oh, what else could we do? And I might have a bit of time off the gym, and then I go into the gym and be like, oh, I wonder, like, if I could still do that. Or, and the other cool thing is when you're willing to change your point of view, you can very quickly see then, because what I also found, I mean, the health and fitness industry is so interesting because there's so many points of view everywhere you look, on social media, in the gym. I mean, I live right near Noosa on the Sunshine Coast. I mean, Jesus, walk down the street and just feel the projections of everyone looking at each other's bodies and weighing themselves up against each other. But then when you're willing to have this like thing with your body, you just acknowledge that and see it in other people, and you're like, that's not even my reality anymore. And it's okay. Like, it's okay for other people to be that way, but it's then so easy for you to start discovering this relationship with you. And, you know, I've heard you say so many times, like, what if a relationship was always about it being 20 times greater than not having it? Like, what if the relationship we had with our bodies was about it always being at least 20 times greater than not having that relationship with your body? So,
yeah. And we've mentioned a few times here, like, about the judgment, not looking for the result. And it's the, like, if you are in question, as Sarah mentioned, you know, earlier, like, what question can you ask today? What question can you be with your body today, rather than ever looking for a result? And I'm going to say, it's interesting that we did do this bodies and money thing, because it's the same thing with money. Like, if you choose to, I noticed that people, like, over the many, many years of working with people, and they'd be like, well, I can do this, this, and this. What are you going to pay me? Versus the people who just go, I get to play with you. I can create, I can do this. And it's like, money is sort of like the byproduct that shows up from what you choose that brings you joy, is how I look at it. And if you're not choosing based on the result of how much money shows up, money starts to show up. I mean, Dr. Dane here said, you know, many, many years ago, it's like money follows joy. Joy doesn't follow money. And people go, oh, well, once I get the result that I think I need to get with this amount of money, you know, in the bank account, same thing. People get money in the bank account, and then they go, oh, well, that's not enough. Never enough. And it's like, oh, I've got to aim for this. I've got to aim for that. I've got to aim for this. Got to aim for that. Well, what if there was never a result? What if there was only question and choice and possibility? And then the contribution of what you can be for you and to others, if you choose, from the happy, from the joy, from the awareness, from consciousness and everything. And it's like, man, it's like, it's just phenomenal what can show up. I mean, even I was talking to someone about, I have the beach across the road, and yesterday I went for do you know, this is funny. I went for a really long walk on the beach, right? And our beach has changed so much through the weather, right? And the shore has just changed. Like and I kept going away, and I haven't been down there that long. So I'm walking and walking and walking, and I turn around and I walk back and that. And then I was walking and I went, shit, I think I'm lost. I've lived here for like, I don't know, 12 years or something. And I was like, there's hardly anyone on the beach. And then I went, nah. And I was like, walk back, and I walked, and I was walking back and forth. And you know what I had to do? I got my phone out and had to type my address in to see what exit I was near, because it's a really, really long beach. And I'd walked way too far the other way too. And I was just like, damn. And I was like, that's hilarious. But my exit is just like, the whole thing has just changed. Like it's the forefront, or whatever you call it, the shorefront, has just changed so much. But I love the way nature just allows itself to change like that and doesn't judge it or anything. And we don't do that. It's like most people tend to judge the change, and yet they're asking for the change at the same time. And it's like, what if you stop resisting the change, and what if you started embracing the change and be willing to be out of control and receive what's in front of you? And there was the wind, and it was a bit chilly, and I was listening to a class that I'd just been to, and I had my feet in the water, again, a bit cold, but the sand. And I was like, this earth is just incredible, and what I can receive from this. And it was just so amazing for my body and for everything, like not just for me and my body. It was like for what I choose to generate and create. And and you always get ideas like for work and business and stuff like that. So when I'm giving myself that space. So what if you gave your body that space and that sense of relaxation, and be willing to get lost in your own backyard, and find out what next.
And get lost with your body, like get lost in discovering what it's aware of that maybe you've never even listened to or known, because you've had this thing, like we said, this program, this predetermined expectation of it. Like, what does it know that you don't even know that it can show you?
That gets me so excited, and my body gets really excited. It's like, because we're so friggin' bossy, aren't we? And it's like, our bodies
so
going, they've got their hands up going, hey, excuse me,
miss.
I've got a little bit more information for you. And you're like, no. And it's like,
So
and
it can actually be really easy and really fun if you just listen to me.
No. Do you know the thing with that is, I don't know, you get that when you get it. It's like, I overrode my body for so long, and I resisted it, and I ate, drank, did everything that was, my body was going, can we stop, or can we go to sleep? And I'm like, no, and somewhere in my insane world, I thought I was going to create something different by the resistance. And when I finally just went, you know what, fuck it, and I'm just going to see what it's like to listen to my body. Oh my goodness, it's so much easier. And it's just, there's just ease when even from the point of view, like I'll get up and go, okay, I'm going to go to the gym, going to go da-da-da-da. Like you've got podcast appointments, da-da-da, class or something like that, and then you go to the gym thing, and I do this little every now and then and go, I don't know if I want to go to the gym, and I try and work it out in my head. It doesn't last very long, and then I go, stop, body, do you want to go? And so often when I'm fighting and going, I don't really want to go, and my body goes, I want to go. And I go, and you go, God, that was amazing. Or vice versa. You don't go. And it's like, and you just, I don't know, lie on the couch or go for a swim or have a nap. And it's just as awesome, But if you start listening to your body, you'll go, I'll tell you, I'll show you.
And it has a sense of humor. Like it's funny, and it's got this personality of its own. Like it's almost like discovering a new best friend every day. And when it's also like, because whatever you're doing, if you have a sport or you have a thing that you enjoy and your body enjoys it, but how often do we go, like today I was like, I'd really like to get to the gym. And I knew, like, my body didn't want to go to the gym today. And then we start to like get guilty about not going to the gym. And your body's just like, hey dude, like if you just talk to me, we can have a laugh about it. We can discover something else. It's like, eat a bit more food today. Who cares?
You can have a chocolate milkshake over it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love it. Wow, this is really cool. Thank you so much, Sarah. It's been a great conversation. Thank you for being on here. Frankie disappeared on us, but that's okay. I think
it's lucky I've got these in, because otherwise she'd hear us. She's on my bed snoring away. So
I see. I love it. Hey, I've got a question for you. Random question. Are you coming to Mexico to go to the Choice of Possibilities class that I'm doing in September?
That was like putting me. I'm not sure yet, actually. Why? Have you got?
Well, if you do come, would you like to come on a private jet from Mexico to Puerto Vallarta? Would your body like to come on the private jet with me?
I've never done that before. Let me ask.
I know.
Yes.
We can get a bottle of champagne and we can go on a private jet. So phenomenal. I booked it today, and if you are coming, you're invited on it.
Thank you. Thank you, my friend.
So
thank you for showing me so much of this too. Like, really also to just have a moment for everyone in this world to appreciate the people in this world that are willing to be different in this regard. And you're definitely one of those people that have shown me so much with this. So much.
Definitely willing to be different. And this is just the beginning. Let's go.
Well, I mean, look at your body too. Like, another invitation for you guys to get onto YouTube and watch this. I mean, if you've been following, watching, listening to Simone over the years, I mean, look at this phenomenal thing. It's like the finest bottle of wine you've ever seen. It's ages just with such
I know, someone
amazing
said
beauty
to me today, you look so much younger and so happier. And I went, I am. Yeah, that's it. I am. Yeah. And what else is possible? So yeah.
Good body.
Yeah, I know. Thank you so much, Sarah, for coming on
my friend.
here. And I'll get to see you tomorrow, which I'm very excited about, and Frankie. And if you guys want to find out more about any and all of this, please go check out accessconsciousness.com. We have facilitators all over the world. Okay, like there's practitioners and facilitators for bars classes, foundation, you know, lots of different things. So please go check it out. And also I have the body series coming up, which, like I said, starts on the 4th of July in America, which is the 5th of July here. And you'll get a call with me every 2 weeks. And there's a WhatsApp group code. You can join or not join the WhatsApp group. That's up to you. But it's there for us to interact and engage with and give you some little home plays. There's guest speakers, etc. I'm really looking forward to it. I know my body is as well. And getting out of debt joyfully. There's lots of stuff on. So just come play. That's what I ask. Come play and know that there's a different possibility with everything. Okay. You don't have to have a problem in life. You can have possibilities show up. So thank you, Miss Sarah Watt. And thanks for joining us, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please make sure to hit the follow or subscribe button on your favorite listening platform to get notified of new episodes. We read all the reviews, so if there's any topic you would like to hear about, let us know. If you'd like to know more about the tools, information, and classes mentioned in the podcast, head on over to SimoneMilasas.com and follow me on Instagram at Simone Milasas, or the podcast has its very own link on Instagram at Choice, Change, and Action. Don't forget, you can download the show notes. And lastly, have way too much fun today.